Hey everyone, this is Demosthenes. I'm going to be playing Children of a Dead Earth by Q-Switch Productions. This is the 10th level, Retaking Ceres. The game itself is set to release on September 23rd, so that's 4 days from now. This is my first voice video, so I apologize if my voice sounds like chalk on a blackboard. The reason why I did this video is because Retaking Ceres is a fairly difficult level when compared to all the previous levels on the tutorial. It caused some serious issues for myself, and apparently it also caused some issues with the other alpha testers. So yeah, if you get stuck on Ceres, you know, maybe watch this video, get a feel for some things you can do to maybe get past the level. By no means is this the only way to beat the level. There's many different ways to beat the level, even just considering the ships that you're given. Don't even bother trying to hit the laser frigate with a fleet of drones, because the TIE Sapphire laser will just chew through all of them. So the first thing we're going to do on this level is conduct a series of evasive maneuvers, which are the thrusts in kind of one direction so that the enemy's drones or missiles will orient towards that direction to intercept us, and then the following timestamp will proceed to burn in the opposite direction until they pretty much run out of fuel and can no longer intercept us, at which point they are no longer a threat. Here you can see I'm kind of alternating my directions of thrusts because I'm trying to confuse the drones and the missiles that the enemy keeps firing at me to kind of try to intercept me at one spot and then completely reverse direction and force them to burn out all their fuel. Thankfully, because I'm fairly far away from the enemy, these burns don't require too much of me. In addition, I believe I start dumping out some drones and missiles pretty shortly here. Yeah. Yeah, so the first barrage is going to be a set of missiles, and here I'm setting up their trajectories, and then as I kind of follow along the trajectory, it pretty much shows me in time like where each fleet of missiles will be. As a result, while I'm calculating out these trajectories, I wouldn't even say I'm really calculating them out, I'm just kind of doing it by trial and error. What it allows me to do is make sure that keep track of which missiles or drone fleets are going to hit the enemy first and which ones are going to come after, etc. Because the last thing you want is your drones to be hitting the enemy before your missiles do. As I mentioned, the TIE Sapphire will just cut right through them. You can see here all the trajectories are kind of stacking up on each other. That's also a reason why I kind of spaced them out, is because I needed to be able to kind of get a feel for which one was doing what. And of course, as they kind of spread out, that also indicates that, you know, the ones that are farther out are going a little bit slower in relation to the enemy. One thing I should note is I've selected the enemy fleet, the capital fleet, as the relative target, so to speak, so all my orbits are calculated with respect to them and where they're going to be. So it looks like I've almost finished up dumping out all my my initial barrage. Now it looks like I got one more fleet of missiles, or sorry, drones. And so here what I ended up doing was, as I was dumping out some of the drones, I kind of second guessed myself and realized that I wanted to have maybe a few drones still with the fleet, just in case. So I ended up separating them out kind of halfway through the drones launching. It also looks like this fleet here is going to be my first combination of both missiles and drones. One kind of note in case you guys are wondering, this video, I believe the entire me beating the level on this final run was, I believe, 30 minutes. But to save you all from watching and listening to me for 30 minutes, I've sped it up 2 times, so it's only 15 minutes. Here's the first barrage of missiles. I believe these are the flak missiles. And they're, honestly, I don't know why they missed so bad, but yeah, they really didn't do anything. The blue diamond that you see there is the, I believe the laser frigate is trying to pop them out, and it's destroying them one at a time. The missiles take a little bit longer to destroy, but the TIE Sapphire can still wipe them out. And these fleets I'm using are only about 10, I believe, which is fairly easy for a laser frigate to take out, or can be. Later on in the game, you want to maybe shift up to 30 missile fleets. I also wonder that if I just used a single 30 missile fleet, maybe I could have done this level a lot quicker. So here's the second barrage of missiles. There's the laser trying to take them out one by one. The enemy starts navigating. I don't know why they feel they're in danger. They start trying to dodge, but the missiles proceeded to pretty much rip through the power supply of the laser frigate here. And you see here on the left hand side, they still have the lasers, they just don't have the power plant. And here I kind of take a closer look, because I was a little bit confused by that, considering that there were still the lasers in the menu, but I couldn't target them because they were, for the most part, knocked out. So this is kind of a huge relief for me. So I start getting a little bit more aggressive and dumping out more and more fleets, and then alternating between watching my fleets as they come in contact. That guy's launching a flare. I don't know why, all the missiles have passed already. Here's the laser frigate. So this was a series of nukes. You can tell there's a whole bunch of speckle in the Whipple shields in the armor now. That's caused by the shockwave, or pretty much the flash lamp effect of my nuke going off in close proximity to the ships. I don't know how much damage I did. Pretty much I just keep barraging them with fleet after fleet of missiles and then drones. Here I have a fleet of drones and missiles about to go in. So the drones open up as soon as they go within range, but at the same time the missiles proceed to go in, and they do some damage with the I can't even remember what the flak missiles. But the big thing is the drones are able to actually like use up their delta V while shooting. And anytime that you can have drones that get to use up their delta V and consistently fire at the enemy is pretty huge, at least with my tactics. It's pretty... shit burns pretty hard and fast the way I play. It looks like we got a whole bunch more missile fleets lined up ready to go. For those of you wondering why I'm doing all this like tweaking back and forth, that's how I'm deciding the speed at which I impact them. simply by pulling one of the pulling the red thrust toggle, I'll be able to, you know, eventually at some point intersect with the enemy. The issue is though is what speed I'm going to be doing it at. So by adjusting the green to force it out and then adjusting the red again, I'm able to come at the enemy at a slightly higher speed, or slower if I want to do that. So at this point I realized that I need to be targeting all the weapon systems, just because armor is a complete waste trying to go after that. You know, if you've got the time, you might as well go through and destroy all the weapon systems, because they're significantly less armored. The missiles themselves, I don't believe they can target specific weapon systems, so they're just going for collateral. So that white flash indicates that that previous fleet was a fleet of nukes. You start seeing the armor get really speckled here. That's my nukes pretty much, I wouldn't say melting, but more like pockmarking up the armor. So here's my last few fleets that I just keep dumping at them that I launched so long ago. Still got a decent amount of drones to go. Yeah, so here specifically I'm kind of increasing the speed by jiggling the red and the green toggle back and forth, and just committing more and more to each directional thrust. And then this drone for... oh, that's my capital fleet actually. So that one, you notice I actually pull it back in the opposite direction of the enemy fleet, because I specifically don't want it to get there before my missile and drone fleets. So it looks like right now my missiles are still going for the largest heat signature, which is not necessarily the frigate anymore, because the frigate's had its power plant knocked out, and last I checked all the radiators were cool. So probably going after the second largest ship, and I can't remember what that ship was in the fleet. They also have the two orbital defense crafts, which are kind of minor. Nice little cone of attack by my missiles. Enemy fleet's starting to get pretty ripped up at this point. Here my drones come in and proceed to start knocking out any weapon systems that I didn't already get. And they do a pretty effective job considering all the reticle spam that starts happening. And yeah, it looks like the enemy they're pretty much sitting ducks at this point. Looks like I knocked out one of the other capitals already. Now I'm just going after the orbital defense crafts. I believe these are just standard drones that I'm using too, nothing terribly fancy about them. Retaking Ceres is before ship design, so everything here is stock in-game what the developer gives you. One of the things you might notice, I pause before I click any of the buttons. There is a reason for me doing that, and that reason is that I'm afraid of committing too much and then losing the level because of the sheer volume of time that I'd put into trying to beat this level. So I wanted to make sure that was this the move that I actually am willing to commit to, as in send drones in first and then my fleet, or vice versa. I wanted to make sure I didn't screw anything up, so I was always hesitant before launching stuff. So here I finally engage with my capital ships and any of the drones that I have left with it. I immediately orient my capital ships towards the enemy because I know I'm going to intersect eventually. And from what I've seen so far, they don't have any weapons that are firing back at my drones at all. Here you can see I start dumping out the last missiles that I have from the missile schooner as the drones proceed to go flying by and start chewing through the enemy ships. Just the last orbital defense craft. That's my capital just dumping out a ton of projectile damage on it while the drones chew it up from the other side. You can see that arc of missiles kind of creeping out. Yeah, pretty much just depressurizing the crew compartments to beat the level. Here's a first-person view of a missile as it tries to impact the enemy. In the alpha, you had to actually kill all of the ships. At release, I think they may have changed that so that it's no longer, you have to kill them all. You just have to disable their ships so they're powerless to stop you. Yeah, glad I finally beat that level. I'll be going on and maybe doing a video about Homecoming because that's another nightmare in itself on how to beat that level. Completely different kind of nightmare though. And yeah, the game comes out on September 23rd, so support your independent game developers and science. Till next time.